walking. All right, I'm ready. Hey moms, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to another episode of Mom 365. I'm your host Janelle, and welcome to the Indulge in Self Lounge. So here in Mom 365, we answer the question, what does motherhood look like for you 365 days a year? So I am so excited today. I have my lovely co-host and guest with me, Miss January.
Hey,
girl.
Hey.
So
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying yes, girl. So I'm going to give January a minute to introduce herself, and then we're going to get into this conversation today.
Hey everybody, my name is January. I am a wife and mother of 3. My children are 22, 15, and 8. 2 boys and 1 girl. The girl is the 8-year-old, so you can imagine how life is at home.
A lot of excitement.
Yes. Oh, I work a full-time job. And yes.
It's so busy.
Busy.
So busy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moms, let me tell y'all what we're talking about today, because this is important now. So today's topic is focusing on meal planning and quick recipes for busy moms. Now, who doesn't need that?
All of us.
Right. You done worked all day, and now you got to come home and feed the family.
Everybody. And every day they want something new.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
So because we are here to answer the question, what does motherhood look like for you 365 days a year? Let's talk about it. So what does it look like for you?
Motherhood looks like 5 hours of sleep, early morning bus drop-offs, grumpy because we don't want to wear those shoes. Motherhood, it looks like every day is different. You know, there's no book for it. Each child is different. Each day is different. The routine doesn't change, but, you know, sometimes things happen and it changes the day.
That part. Yeah. All right. So was it what you expected it to be?
No.
No,
and I say that because when we were children and our parents were raising us, they made it look easy.
Yeah, like playing house.
Yeah, they made it look easy. You know, they went to work, we had our chores, and that was that. You didn't see them stressed. You didn't see all the behind the scenes things that we now as the parents know existed, but you know, we weren't privy to the information.
Yeah, to the ins and outs. So we took a lot of things for granted.
As children should, I think, because they shouldn't be involved in the rough parts. Yeah.
If you ask me, we was rich.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you no different, but like you said, behind the scenes, it's a whole lot of extra stuff that go on.
Yeah.
But you don't realize that till you got your own, and now you got to make things work.
Yes.
All right, now y'all. So we want to get into these questions. So what does meal planning mean to you in the context of being a mother 365 days a year?
Meal planning has to be easy. It's got to be quick. It can't have a whole lot of moving parts.
Right.
Because if I've worked 8 hours, I don't want to come home and be in the kitchen for another 2 hours trying to make a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to work. And like I said, just quick and fast and to the point.
I know.
Yeah.
So I remember when I used to do my 12 hours, and I would come home after working 7 p. I get home around 8 because it's not really 12. It's
right.
A lot
13,
more.
Uh-huh.
And then by the time you get home, you're cooking a meal, like the kids are not eating until like 10 o'clock, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a horrible mother.
Yeah, you feel bad. Mm-hmm.
At that time, we wasn't really meal prepping. But you know what? It's funny because growing up, you used to see your parents, they'll like prep meals on like Sunday. They'll put a whole bunch of food and cook. I'm like, why are you cooking all this food?
And now you understand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes life just a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
So can you share your personal experience with the challenges of prepping meals as a busy mom?
Having an idea of what dinner is going to be in your head, and you get home and something's not in the kitchen, something's not in the fridge, something's not in the pantry, and now you have to either change what you were going to do, or you got to get to the store to get it. Maybe the husband won't be off for another hour. You can get to the store and back in 20 minutes. So do you wait for him, or do you go get it, or do you just change what you're doing altogether? So that's one of the challenges.
Yeah, I understand that.
Or you make something and one of the kids don't want it. And then you're like, okay, well, what do you want? Because we're just that new group of moms that we will do that.
Yeah. See, my mom, I
Our
was able
mothers
to eat
would not
whatever.
have. Our mothers wouldn't have done that.
I was
It
the
was
only
what was put on the
child.
table. We'll see. You know, you ate what was put on the table, and then that was that. There was no. Well, I've got 3 kids, and each kid wants something different. But I have done that before.
Yeah.
But it still has to be fast.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I was a picky eater, so they were just happy that I ate. So it was like whatever I want, as long as you eat, because I didn't really eat.
Mm-hmm.
All I wanted to eat was like yogurt and stuff,
Oh.
and fruits. So how do you balance providing nutritious and delicious meals for your family with such a busy schedule?
I'd be lying to you if I told you that there was salad on the plate every night. There's not, but there's gonna be 2 vegetables.
Balance.
2 vegetables, a starch, a meat, protein, however you want to put it. And that's what I do. Like, my kids like vegetables.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I started ever since they were small. You know, that crazy looking mashed up peas in that baby food jar. You know, so I started them young, just because I was raised with you ate your vegetables before you ate your starch and your meat. Yeah. You know, so that's the way that I balance it out. And we eat a lot of chicken, so I just try to do it differently. Right. You know, and I'm not one of those mothers that fry chicken, believe it or not.
So that's a good thing.
Some people
that's good.
Some people are a little upset with me about that, but I don't really fry chicken.
Yeah, because that grease.
Yeah,
and with all that cholesterol.
And with all the new stuff now, you don't have to put in flour and then the oil and all that. So
crock pots.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Air fryers.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm lucky with that too, because my boys they like vegetables and they like African food, and that's mostly soup, so it's vegetables. Mm-hmm. So that on that part we're good. The part that I have an issue with them is they don't want potatoes. I'm like,
no kind of potatoes?
No, it's a texture for them, I think.
Okay, my daughter, she doesn't like white potatoes, but she loves sweet potatoes.
They don't like that either. They just don't like potatoes.
Texture.
I'm like,
okay. Yeah.
And those are staples.
But they like French fries.
And that's exactly what I tell them. Like, it's the same thing fried.
It's the texture. It's the texture.
Yeah, I've done it in all these.
Do they like hash browns?
Yeah, they eat hash.
Just no mashed potatoes.
They don't like mashed potatoes. They don't like canned yams. They don't like any like cassava. Y'all know what cassava is, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they don't like none of that kind of stuff. Okay. I don't know why. I guess it's a texture. They will not eat it. And then we kind of went through a phase where it was like, oh, I don't eat mac and cheese, but 2 weeks ago you loved mac and cheese. Like, what are we doing now? Okay. So we go through all these different phases and changes and all of that.
Yeah.
So what are your top strategies for efficient meal planning to save time and reduce stress in your daily routine?
Think about it days ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I don't always write it down, but it's in my head. Monday we're gonna have this. Tuesday we're gonna have that. Wednesday we're gonna have that. Thursday we're gonna have that. Fridays, more than likely, mom's not cooking dinner.
That part, we're gonna order out.
If we don't order out, then you're gonna go ahead and eat some leftovers in the refrigerator, or 2 of the 3 kids are old enough to figure it out on their own, and I'll always take care of baby girl. Yeah. But that's how I do it. Tuesdays are always tacos.
Okay, Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how I plan it out. I think about it ahead of time, so that I know, and I'm not like, oh, what are we gonna eat? I get up at 4 o'clock, or what are we gonna eat? No, I already got it in my head.
Okay. Yeah. That's a part of the prepping now. You think about it days ahead, it makes life a little easier. Mm-hmm. So I like that. So can you recommend any go-to ingredients or staples for quick and easy meals that every busy mom should have in their kitchen?
Okay, so I'm not like a big microwave mom person. You're not gonna see banquet meals in the freezer, right. Or if there's a Marie calendar, it's because I want it for my lunch the next day or something like that. But like the kids they're not eating a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. Okay. So I have like my go-to seasonings, and one of them is Lipton savory herb and garlic. Yeah, comes in the box.
I like that.
You can find it next to like the beefy onion Lipton mix. That seasoning,
yes, girl,
works on everything.
I like to put on my potatoes.
Potatoes, chicken, beef, fish.
Yeah.
It makes a wonderful gravy with a little bit of cornstarch and a little oil and some onions. You know what I mean? So that is one of my go-to seasonings. And I feel like whatever you're cooking, kind of like, it's not all going to taste the same because you're using the same seasoning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever you're cooking is going to
different
mingle with that, and yeah. So that's one of my go-tos.
Okay, I like that. So I like the seasons. And then I know, like, growing up, and then for me, a lot of things that that's why I get mad that they don't like potatoes, because I'm always gonna have potatoes in the house. I'm always gonna have rice in the house. I don't know if that's
because you can do rice
but
different ways.
Right.
Like you can have your white rice, your steamed rice, and you could let that leftover rice get all cold in the refrigerator. The next day, then you're gonna fry it with some vegetables and a little bit of meat. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, it's just certain things that I'm always gonna keep. So those are the staples that I'm always gonna have, because it's just easy. And I don't like chicken. I'm so over chicken, and I think because we overate chicken.
Okay.
But I keep a lot of chicken for them.
Okay. It's fast.
Yeah.
Chicken cooks quick. Yeah.
It cooks quick. Yeah. So those are like simple things that you can have in the house. My go-to season is, I don't cook with salt.
Me neither.
So yeah, I like my seasonal and things like that. Like the stuff
garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, black pepper. McCormick's has this seasoning called
is it the
Nature's Blend or something like that. It's like a seasoned salt, but it's not salt like it doesn't. It's way not like seasoned salt. In our area, there is a carryout called Sharif's. Well, named Sharif's, and they're known for like their rotisserie chickens and their halal food. But they have the season that they put on their rotisserie chicken. They sell it.
Oh, nice.
So we have that in the house. The Liptons, the beefy onion, the savory herb and garlic.
Yeah.
When I make my pot roast, there's always a can of French onion soup mix in there. I don't use water. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Chicken broth.
Right.
Beef broth, actually.
Well, the beef broth, and then the can of onion soup mix. Campbell's onion soup mix. Campbell's onion soup. It's in the can. One can of that. Like if I'm doing a broth, I don't use water. I use a chicken broth or a beef broth, depending on what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah,
I like that. There's this season. I know everybody knows it, but I don't know the American name for it. Well, it's a international season, but then it's also we call it Maggi, but it's also, I think they call it like al pollo or something. That's what the Spanish people call it. But it's like they have it in chicken.
Like adobo?
Adobo, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, they have it in chicken, tomato, vegetable. So that stays in our house.
Okay.
That stays in the house. And my mother and them, they use that accent stuff. I don't use that MSG. We don't do that. So
yeah, I think accent's a little salty for me.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
But Africans, they cook with that a lot in there.
I like the grill mate seasonings for meats.
Okay. Yeah,
I like them
too.
Just a little bit though, because I know they have salt in them.
I like them too, because it gives like that flavor. It kind of feel like you put it on the grill. Yeah, so I like that too.
Yeah.
So, and then with the vegetables, keep the canned vegetables, the frozen vegetables.
I'll have more frozen vegetables in my house than canned.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't always steam them. I might saute them with olive oil.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, it tastes better.
And bake them. I like them. It just depends. I like the baked stuff too. Yeah. So when we do the fresh stuff, a lot of times it has to be a Sunday, a holiday, or to buy all that fresh cooking. But
not me, girl. Sometimes it could be dinner would look like Thanksgiving on the Wednesday.
Yeah. It
depending on how much my time was.
It depends, right?
Right. Depending on how much time I had or what I was craving. Like my kids love to come home from school to a roast and macaroni and cheese and collard greens and sweet potatoes and then they'll be like, first question is somebody coming over? And I'll just be like, no,
it's y'all. So when I used to cook like that, nobody really wanted to eat.
Oh.
When I stopped,
now they want to
all
eat.
of a sudden it's like, oh well, mommy, why you don't know? I ain't got time now.
Yeah.
So that's why we got meal prep. I don't have time for that now.
Yeah.
So Sundays I'm gonna try to get y'all.
And the crock pot is your friend.
I make pot roast.
I have more than one crock pot. The crock pot, the air fryer.
That's one of our questions. We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
No, you're fine. But we're gonna get to that. But that's how it is. I noticed, especially my brother. He was the pickiest person. All he wanted to do was eat fast food, and you know. So we all kind of went through an only child kind of phase.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you get. Pizza, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but now he's like trying to weight train, and he's playing
So
basketball.
He wants more chicken.
He wants us to cook home cooked meals, and I'm like, well, Michael, I'm gonna just teach you. I teach him how to cook now, because guess what?
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, sometimes
It's
a lot going on.
Yes,
there's a lot going on. Even Papa, he fry eggs.
Okay.
Everybody gotta learn to do something. We gonna make it work. I started cooking at what? I think I learned at 12. Yeah, you know, them African people. They start their kids at 8 and 9 in the kitchen cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave me a little grace because we was in America. So it was like, who am I cooking for? So I ate a lot of oodles and noodles and hot dogs. That's what I used to like to eat.
Okay.
So we did that one. So share some of your favorite time-saving kitchen gadgets or tools. So that's what you were just talking about.
Right. So the air fryer, the Dutch oven, the crock pot, the rice cooker.
Yes, rice cooker.
Now
Ooh.
I can throw down like somebody's grandmother, but I cannot cook rice. I don't know what it is. I have tried the directions on the back of the package. People have told me.
Girl, let me tell you.
Walked me through it. My mother-in-law, rest her soul, told me what to do. My husband, who makes perfect rice, he's tried to explain it to me. I can make you some pot roast collard greens, fried turkey, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, ribs.
But the rice.
But I can't do that rice. So I have a rice cooker.
You overthink it. You're overthinking it. So let me tell you. So when I was growing up, we had a rice cooker in the house. My father would not let me use the rice cooker.
Because you should
I
know
had
how
to
to
learn to cook the rice.
The 2
on
cups
the
of
pot.
water, the 1 cup of rice.
Yes, there you
put
go.
The top of
Yeah.
water, nah.
You got it. And then you got to keep the fire low. Don't put too much water, because then that's when it get all muddy looking.
See, I don't know what happens.
Every now and then it get a little sticky. We ain't gonna say it's perfect all the time. Because I cooked rice the other day. My mother was like, "You don't know how to cook rice, girl." I learned the 12 style.
Okay.
Yeah, she be trying. But for real, I couldn't use the rice cooker. And I had one, but when it broke, I haven't bought another one.
I have one. And ours broke a couple weeks ago, and we did not have rice until there's a new one popped
You
up.
bought it?
Yep.
I could,
because y'all don't talk about me. I will boil and bag rice in a minute.
See, I can't get with that.
Yes.
It's
My
not
husband
the
don't like
same.
that either. He'd be like,
Yeah, it's not the same.
yeah.
But then when you cook the rice and it's like sticky, then you can make some kind of Chinese food or something
Right.
with
You
it.
just gotta throw it in the refrigerator, let it get cold.
Yeah. So it never goes to waste.
No.
So do you have any meal prep or batch cooking tips that help you to streamline the cooking process during the week? So, like, for example, do you like...
I would say not necessarily during the week, but more like when the holidays are gonna come.
Okay.
Because during the week, I already have it in my head, and if it's something that I know that they like, but they're not gonna be with it the next day, I won't make a lot.
Okay.
If it's something I know that they like, such as spaghetti, I'll make enough that to get through 2 days. Pot roast, I'll make enough to get through 2 days. Fettuccine, enough for 2 days. Something like that. But something like, say it's one of those days where I am going to fry something and it's like pork chops, there's not going to be enough for the next day. They're not going to want to warm up a pork chop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to know your kids. You got to know your house, because that saves on waste.
I know.
Now for like the holidays, if I got to do big batches because I'm hosting, I always start the day before. I will prep my macaroni and cheese, but I won't put it in the oven. Let it sit in the refrigerator. I will cook the collard greens, let them sit in the fridge. I'll cook the macaroni and cheese. I'll boil my potatoes, but I won't mash them. You know what I mean? I'll season up my meat in the refrigerator, get up, early that morning and you cook it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that helps me for the day of, although I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, everything pretty much is done. I just got to cook this turkey or whatever have you.
Stuff in the oven.
Yeah, yep, and warm everything up in the oven. So
yeah, so you know what I struggle with.
mm-hmm.
I overcook. I don't, because it's this thing that we believe as foreigners that you cook and everybody's supposed to come and eat. So I don't know how to cook for like a little bit of people. Yeah. Okay. So when I cook, I overcook. Okay. And sometimes, you know, the kids they'll do leftover for a few days, and it like when we cook our soups, it's for like the week. You cook for like a week or two. Okay. So it's pretty much, you know, like some moms they'll probably cook like 3 different soups on Sunday, okay, and then they just recook rice every week. But you eat the same thing, like okay, you can wake up and eat rice, you go to sleep and eat rice, you know. So yeah, you have your meat, you have that. So we have that habit of like I could cook a lot of everything. Okay, I'll cook every day and I'll still cook a lot of everything. Okay, and then what I'll try to do is maybe I'll freeze stuff. So then it's like, okay, well now you got a frozen dinner. So if you don't want to eat it this week, maybe we can do it next week. Yeah, because I overcook. Yeah. Now what I will do is, like let's say I made a soup, mm-hmm, and they didn't eat on the soup for 2 days. That third day they don't want it anymore. I myself was tired of it. I will freeze it. I'm not throwing it out, okay, because I'm gonna freeze it and come back to it 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? Good. Yes, because 9 times out of 10 the soup was good, and I'm not wasting it. We're gonna come back to it, and they don't know. They don't pay attention what's in that freezer. They don't know I done froze that soup, and I done thawed it out 3 weeks from now, and they'd be like, "Oh, good, you made that soup again." Sure did. So yeah, that's one of the tricks. Something big like that, big batches like that, you don't have to throw it out. You can throw it in a freezer bag, label it, date it, put it in that freezer, and you can pull that out and thaw it out a couple weeks from then, and it saves you one less thing to cook. Yeah, and then even with like, because you think about how they do the TV dinners, we could create our own little TV dinner. So when you come home from school, just pop something in the microwave real quick. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a leftover, but guess what? It's good. Yeah. Right. Yep. So I like that, but I'm working on learning to not cook big meals. It don't work. So and the good thing is I know my mom always going to eat, and it's like 8 of us in the house now, so everybody eats now, so it's different now. Yeah. But when we just asked over there, I was like, oh yeah, this is just going to waste. So how do you involve your children in meal planning and cooking to create a family bonding experience? Because I know you're very family oriented, and the kitchen is the center of the home. That's where all the love is, and majority of every house it's the kitchen. That's where everybody just kind of gather. So I'll ask them like, what you want for dinner? You know what I mean? Ask them as a group. They'll have a little debate about it, and then they'll come up with something. Okay. Or I'd be telling you lies if I said I wanted them in the kitchen helping me chop and all that. I do not. I understand. Slows the process. They are in my way. Yeah. Yes. I don't have the biggest of a kitchen, so you can stand here and talk to them, but you got to be on the other side of the counter. Yeah. Don't come on this side of the counter because I'm moving around. You're gonna be in my way. Yeah. It's rare for me, like I said, to ask someone like chop some onions or cut up some potatoes or. Yeah, now I understand. Especially during the week when it's already busy, y'all all gotta get ready in the morning. Right, and I move faster sometimes if I could just get it done myself. But I will ask like opinions on dinner. Now, going back to that fried food thing, I do not fry food very often, but my 15-year-old Turk fries some mean chicken. Okay, I like that. And I have been bragging on Turk and his chicken. I gotta try the chicken for a while, right? Turk fries some mean chicken, y'all. Okay. So yeah, but I don't want you in the kitchen. You can talk to me from that way. No, I understand. Yeah. Or say, Mom, can you make that gravy? Yeah, I'll make that gravy. But I don't want you in here. Help me make that gravy. Yeah, I'm not mad. I understand, because one thing, I like to cook and clean. Mm-hmm. So I don't want you in my way. But every now and then it makes them feel like they're part of something. So can you go get that for me? Can you get that for me? Can you crack an egg? I try to get them to do just to make them feel like they're part of the process. Cause now holidays, when we baking more cakes and cookies and all, then I pull the little one. I pull the 8-year-old in the kitchen because that could be some bonding time or whatever. And I'm just making this cake just because. It's not because
the hours getting ready to strike 9, and you know, bed's coming soon, you know what I mean?
Right.
So something like that, yeah. But those after work nights when I'm gonna have you fed and in bed by 8:30, I don't need your help.
Yeah, you're in the way. You're in the way. It's the truth. They making a mess. They spilling stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely get that.
Yeah.
So how do you? Oh, we did that one. So what are some of the quick and what are some of the quick recipes that you use?
If I make something and it was a hit, I make it the same way every time.
Okay.
Like I don't try to change up how I make something. I might switch the barbecue sauce, or I might cook something a little longer or a little less. But if I made it and it was a hit, I'm not changing it. Like for instance, my fettuccine alfredo, they like the sauce that I buy. I don't make my own sauce. I would love to one day, you know, experience with that. But when you press for time, you don't have time to be getting the heavy cream and garlic and all that.
I understand.
Right? So I will not change the sauce that I use because that's not the sauce that they like. I don't change my barbecue. I don't change my spaghetti sauce. For instance, hot dogs. They're not going to eat. They don't want chicken hot dogs. They don't want turkey hot dogs. They want beef hot dogs. I'm going to make sure I get the beef hot dogs because I want them to eat it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Things like that. So I don't try to introduce new things to them for their main meal. It might be there, like, hey, try this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they like it, then, you know, like, lo and behold, my kids like Brussels sprouts. But I gotta make them a certain way. I can't just steam them.
My sister put me on. I used to hate them.
Yeah, I can't just steam them and give them to them. I have to steam them, slice them in half, and then either throw them in the oven with some olive oil and garlic and whatever else, or I have to saute them in a pan. Like, they gotta have that little crispiness to them. You know what I mean? You can't just give them steamed or boiled Brussels sprouts and they're gonna eat it. They're just not gonna. Right, but my kids think it's cabbage. I chop it a little bit. They think it's cabbage.
It looks like cabbage.
Tiny cabbages.
It doesn't taste like cabbage. Because that's what they used to tell me as kids. It tastes like cabbage.
You gotta know how to cook a Brussels sprout in order to get them to eat it. And my kids love, like, they know that it's Brussels sprouts now. You understand? So when they were younger, growing up, they thought it was cabbage. But then as they got older, they learned, oh, that's Brussels sprouts. But then they'll be like, hey, Mom, can you make some Brussels sprouts? You know what I mean? So it's just all about how you make it in order to get them to eat it.
No, you're right. Because my sister put me on. So the good thing with all these people living in the house now, my sister and her boyfriend, they single folk, right? So they love to cook. So they cook. Well, we work on it because sometimes they know how to cook for two. Okay. They ain't cooking for 20 people, but we teaching them.
Right.
But when they do and we add the extra thing, they cook. When I say everything is fresh, everything is fresh.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, y'all have a lot of time.
They got time to do
that.
Yeah,
you got time.
They can watch the TikToks and get the.
There you go. They get the fresh parsley. I'm like, it's seasoned parsley. Just use that. Like, come on. They get everything fresh every day.
No.
I'm like, I wish I had the
I like
luxury
doing
to
like
do
fresh
that.
broccoli or fresh cabbage.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's rare for me to get something out of a can.
Yeah.
So, like the other day I made. Now my kids will try, like I said, they will try something. So the other day it was cold, and I am not from down south, but I love to eat like I am. And I made some smoked turkey and lima beans.
Oh, I like that.
With some rice and some cornbread. I was tearing it up.
I like that.
So my daughter was like, what is that? You know what I mean? And I was like, so I'm trying to think of a gentle way to say it to her because I don't want to explain it to her and turn her off. So I'm like, it's beans because she loves baked beans, right? So she was like, well, they don't look at the beans that I eat. And I said, well, these are the beans that mommy make in the wintertime. She says, have I had them before? I said, you have, but you know, it's been a year, so you know, she's not eating it repetitively, so she might forget. So she was like, well, I don't know if I want that. And I said, well, just try a little bit. So she was willing to try. She took a spoonful, but she was just like, no, thank you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was fine. But I like that she will try it. Yeah. You know, because she swore me up and down that she didn't like macaroni and cheese.
That's what
and she eats macaroni and cheese. I'm like, just taste it, Jay. Just taste it, because she likes the macaroni and cheese, like the the Lipton North size macaroni and cheese, but she doesn't like the Kraft macaroni and cheese. But she claimed she didn't like the baked macaroni and cheese. So one time I was like, well, these are the same things. So I like showing her pictures and all. So then, but now she eats baked macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I didn't see macaroni and cheese either.
She likes it.
I'll look at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. But
Yeah.
now I'm older, I travel. Like, that's why I like to travel. So I could try. I'm going to try
Try
something
different things.
at least once.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
going to
try it.
once.
I'll try it, but
You know.
and one thing I can't get with.
Don't say it, girl, because you know I can't. All the meats, I want them.
I know you like it. I know you love it.
We
And
eat all kinds of meat.
And we've had this conversation
I
before.
know.
I can't do no lamb.
She's missing out in life.
I can't do lamb. I can't do goat.
Hey, girl.
I've tried it several different times because, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? The first time I was like, oh, maybe it just wasn't done right or cooked right or whatever. So let me try it again. I don't know. I just can't get with it.
No, I understand because my thing that I can't.
And lamb looks so good.
When I was younger, I didn't like it.
Maybe I just still
like
haven't had it done right. Like a gamey taste.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but now I'm like, well, I like it. But one thing I can't get with to this day.
What?
And my mother still try to cook it. You need iron, girl. I'm grown.
Liver.
Oh, them liver onions. Ew.
My dad used to make some bomb liver and onions, but I feel like when he passed away, I stopped eating it because I don't know, nobody's liver and onions taste like his, so I don't do it.
It's just
like if I go to someone's house and they didn't made liver for dinner and they didn't made liver and onions like mashed potatoes and corn, but I'll eat the gravy and the mashed potatoes, but I don't want the liver.
Yeah, I don't even cook liver for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat it. I don't,
Yeah.
If they grandma cook it, they'll ill.
Right.
That's one of them things that I'm like, yeah, I'm good on that. I've tried it different. It just, I like gizzard though. I love some gizzard.
I don't even eat those anymore.
Ooh, girl, I love me some gizzard. So, what are your top strategies for efficient meal planning to save time and reduce stress in your daily routine?
Like I said, just knowing what we're gonna cook, knowing what I'm gonna cook, being sure that the ingredients are there, because I am a thinker. So when I get into bed at night, I think about the next day. What if I haven't already took out what I'm gonna wear, what baby girl's gonna wear? I think about what we're gonna have for dinner.
Yeah.
So that morning, I'll check.
To make sure
you know what I mean? So that the things are there, and if they're not there, then I know what I have to do. Make a stop after work, but now that I'm working from home, maybe I can run out on a lunch break and pick it up or whatever. But you just got to make sure that things are there and you know what you're going to make, and don't change your mind. Because if you change your mind, what you want, some ingredients might not be in the house, or, and try not to have to be in the kitchen longer than an hour making dinner. And that's prepping and getting it done. Yeah. Years ago, a person that I used to religiously watch and would pull her shows up on YouTube or the internet, however, you could search back then, was Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray has some great 30-minute meals. Yes, yes, love it.
Okay, so we'll drop some of those.
Hey, Rachel, girl, if you see this, hey, Rachel.
We're going to drop some of your recipes. Quick meal.
Hashtag Rachel Ray.
So, I had so you want to share some of the, we did the gadgets already. Mm-hmm. We did talk about that. And we talked about how you involve the children. So we talked about some quick recipes.
Yeah.
So because I know you personally, and I know that you like to cook and all of that good stuff. So what is it about mealtime that is so important to you, and in the aspect of the family bonding? Because it's more than just, I'm getting in the kitchen and I'm cooking. It's like I'm giving love to my kids. I'm giving love to my family.
I like to feed people. I like for them to enjoy their food. There's a certain kind of like love in that you can put into your food, and when the people eat your food, they know you love them. Yeah. If I cook something and it gets burnt or it doesn't taste right, I'm not feeding it to you.
Yeah.
That'll be one of those impromptu nights where I'm like, oh nope, this ain't right. I'm gonna get pizza. Yeah. But I'm not going to feed you anything that I wouldn't eat. So I don't know. I think it's always been instilled in me ever since I was young. I can remember being a teenager and just moving to an area, and some of the mothers in the area, they were a little caught up in the street life, and weren't as attentive to their children as I was used to. And I remember this one lady she had 6 kids. 7, because one of them was my friend, older. So she had 7 kids, but she had 6 little kids. And I would notice that they didn't have like a lot of food in the house, or like the kids were eating noodles or sunflower seeds. And I can remember that bothered me one day when I was at school, and I went home and cooked them this big pot of spaghetti.
Aww.
Now I'm like 15, 16 years old.
I love it.
I cooked them this big pot of spaghetti and I took it around the corner. And a couple of days later, like my dad wanted spaghetti or something, and he's like, I thought we had the stuff. Like he wanted the spaghetti, and he knew we had the stuff in the house, because even as a teenager, I lived with my dad for some time, and we planned out the meals like days in advance, and I'd write it down, he'd take me to the grocery store, I get stuff, because I would cook dinner. And so I didn't want to tell myself that I made the spaghetti and took it around here for these kids to eat. And I would like buy them like eggs and bread, and you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, because their mother wasn't like, she wasn't mentally home. She was physically home, but she wasn't mentally home, because she was mentally, in the streets. Yeah. So, but ever since I was just younger, there was an enjoyment of feeding people, and because when you're full, you're happy. You know what I mean? When your tummy's tight, you're in a good mood, and you're even in a better mood if you like the person that made you the meal.
So that comes back to that concept of why we cook big meals, because
you never know who's hungry.
Yeah, and like I didn't grow up in Africa, but when we did go to visit, it's like you have a lot of family, and everybody don't eat every day. Everybody can't afford to eat every day. Like some of the things that we might take for granted, to them it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So when you cook, and in my house, we always had people over our house. Because my dad DJ'd, and my mom would just be in the kitchen. She just always cooking, and I was in the kitchen with her cooking. So we always had people in the house all the time. So we cook a lot of food. So anytime, and anybody that ever comes to the house, you always offer them food. Yeah. So there's always going to be food in the fridge so everybody can eat, because you just never know. People don't have meals, they don't eat. So So when we're going to open that soup kitchen?
People, you're not the only people have been asking me to like cook professionally for years. I can't do it. I just like to be the host. Yeah. I don't want to get paid to do it. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. You know what I mean? Yes. And I would hate for a Keith Lee to come to my establishment and I can't help the brother out. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I prefer to just cook for my people and, host, and I know you're coming, or even if you pop up, you've come to my house before, and like dinners or one, and I'm like, girl, you want something to eat? You know what I mean? And so I just like to do that. I just like to feed my loved ones, and planning a party. There's gonna be a freaking smorgasbord, so yeah. But like opening a soup kitchen, if it was a soup kitchen and I was helping the community or the homeless or something like that, then I don't mind participating and doing something like that.
That's what I'm saying. But like a nonprofit kind of thing, because there's a lot of people that don't eat. Right. It's like a lot of people, like I tell the kids sometimes, I said, one Thanksgiving, I'm not going to cook, and we're going to go to the soup kitchen. Because y'all have to see, like, you guys are very privileged. Yeah. And you take a lot of things for granted. That some people don't even, like, they don't have even in school, when you go to school, like, some people, they don't have food at home. Yeah. Even in the hospital, like a lot of times when patients, we have certain patients that are constantly coming through the door, or people who constantly go to jail. Sometimes it's just for a meal. That's crazy as it sounds, but that's really what it's for. Yeah. Okay. A place to lay their head and eat food. I agree. So, is there anything else that you want to, tell us about meal prepping?
Just trying to think about it. If you can keep good notes in your head, just mentally mentally know what you're going to eat for dinner for at least the first 2 days. At least 2 days in a row. You don't have to have the whole week in your head, because things can happen. You might have to take the kid to a sporting event, or it runs a little late, and you can't go home and make that meatloaf. You know what I mean? You got to stop and grab a pizza or something like that. But if you do have those days and times where you can make the meatloaf, or you can make the smothered chicken or whatever. Just try to have your ingredients in the house. When you go grocery shopping, if you shop like by the week, you can get everything that you need for that week. If you have the time to chop the vegetables or whatever for the next 2 days, you can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's helpful, but luckily I'm busy, but I'm not that busy to where I have to do it that way or it just does not work out.
Right.
So I have the support system at home. So there's a 2-parent house, and he can go pick the kid up from their sporting event while I'm in the house getting dinner together, and we can like work together as a team with that. Like Fridays 9 times out of 10 my high school has a football game, and then Fridays my daughter has Girl Scouts.
Life is life.
And so my son knows that sometimes I'm not going to be at the football game, right, because someone has to get your sister dropped off to Girl Scouts and someone has to get her picked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's okay with that. It's been so many years surrounded by him and his football that now that his sister has something extracurricular to do, he's fine with mommy or daddy, because it's been times where if my husband has to work late, say he has to work till 5 and the game started at 4, I'll go to football, he'll take care of Girl Scouts because that's at 6:30, and then he'll be on what are we going to eat for dinner on Friday. Now he consults with me. He
I like that.
Right, he doesn't always just like make the decision. He kind of like runs it past me first. So, but that's how we get that figured out. So just think about it. Just think about it and try to do as much prep, even if prep is just purchasing the items, the day before or 2 days before.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So, some of the things that I did write down was when you're meal prepping, you want to set a budget.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because set a budget, set a list. Because if you don't, you're gonna be in the store buying
coupons,
everything. Oh yeah.
Utilize the store points. Utilize all that stuff. Download their apps.
Mm-hmm.
There's great perks with each grocery store. So that helps out a lot.
No, it does. I agree, especially since it's inflation. We ain't even gonna get into that conversation but like she said, you want to check your schedule and see what fits where. You want to take inventory, like she said, of what you have in the house and what you may not have, which requires you knowing what you want to cook ahead of time. Mm-hmm. You want to pick meals that can be quick. And you want to assign a meal to each day so you have a time that you can do grocery and get the things that you need.
Yeah.
So, we are a spa. So what's always important for us to know is you're a busy mom, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of everybody, you're making sure things are running in the household.
Yeah.
What are you doing for yourself? When are you taking time for self-care? What does it look like?
My self-care is what I call bath time.
Yes.
Okay. I run me a nice hot bowl bath, as hot as I can stand it. I got some essential oils in there. I've got bubbles in there. I have candles lit. I have music, a glass of wine. The lights get turned out, and they know that when mommy, I'll make an announcement.
I like it.
I do. I'll make an announcement. I'm about to take my bath. Mm-hmm. They know they can be loud. Right. They can be loud. They can do whatever they're doing in the house. But don't knock on the door.
Yes.
Don't ask to use this bathroom. Go downstairs to use the bathroom. Yeah. Don't knock on the door and say, how long are you going to be? You know what I mean?
That's your scheduled time.
Right. That's my me time. That's my me time. And sometimes I'll even have the door cracked and the window cracked to get a good cross breeze. They won't say, are you good? They won't bother me. You know what I mean? They know that leave mommy alone. She's got that music going in the bathroom. That means she's having her bath time. So that is my me time. I don't even. It used to be like going to get my nails done or my eyebrows done. That's not the me time no more. I feel like that's maintenance that we place upon ourselves because my husband really don't care if my nails are done. You know what I mean? That's just like maintenance that we place upon ourselves, and we want to look pretty. We want to look nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? But my me time is my bath time.
Yeah, mental health.
That's my bath. Yes.
That slow music. You just get to unwind and just
put a mask on my face, some type of mask on my face, and just sit in there. And I'll even halfway through let some of the water out and refill with hot water. Yeah. Yep.
The kids gotta be sleeping when you do a bath time. Cause guess what? Mommy, can I take a bubble bath? No.
See, this is the thing. I set these rules and these boundaries so early on, starting with my first kid, that it's just a known fact.
Okay, I like that.
You know what I mean? Sometimes us as mothers, we have to set boundaries and be like, look, this is my time. Do not bother me. You know what I mean? Let me have this. And they respect it.
They respect it.
Yep.
Yeah. But it takes time, but I like it.
Yeah.
You got to schedule it. You got to let it be known. Everybody in the house got to be on the same page.
Yep.
And it's good.
And I suggest that to my new mothers. Like, I'm not the one to give a whole bunch of mommy advice because everybody's mommy experience is different.
Yeah, it is.
But I do throw that one out there. Take bath time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take bath time for yourself. If the kids are small, you have to wait till they go to sleep. Wait till they go to sleep. But run that bath with them bubbles and get you some wine and some music and just relax. Yep.
Yeah. So we know you're not one of the moms that give tips, but one thing that I'm a firm believer that we all have a different journey.
I like to give.
Suggestions.
I don't give suggestions, right? Because don't laugh when I say this, but you can have a bad child. You understand what I'm saying? And if I seen others around you give like advice, I'm not going to comment on it because
of course, yeah.
you're gonna let your child do whatever you want your child to do.
Right.
But if it was like trying to get them to eat their vegetables, I'd be like, oh, well, try it this way. Right. You know what I mean? Something like that. So I like to give suggestions, like you said, but sometimes I will keep my advice to myself because everybody's gonna parent different.
No, of course.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think more so it's not really about advice, or it's just, sometimes I think it's that idea of community, and I think people are really seeking it and they don't know how to ask for it.
Some people, but then you have
some people. With the
generation,
like,
in and around that child.
Yeah,
but whole time
that's that defense stuff. But at the end of the day, like, look, we come from a village. Like when I was growing up, your auntie lived there. Everybody disciplined you. Everybody
the neighbor could say something to you, and it was cool.
Yeah, the neighbors used to tell on us when we used to cuss. Like we ain't even used to know. We just be out in the streets thinking we grown.
Mm-hmm.
Then my dad come and you get a spanking. Well, what did I do? You was outside cussing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Then they told.
Yeah.
But so to me, it's not really like, it's just, hey, I'm just sharing my experience. It may work, it may not work, because like you said, every child is different. Everybody, and it's not even just about like for children too. I just think sometimes as mom, we just need some like, just some reassurance to know, like, girl, you got this. You were doing a good job.
Yeah.
Just that, because sometimes we don't hear it enough, and I think we feel like, damn, I suck at this. Because
we think that because every child is different.
Yeah.
So you might have one kid that's going through something that you didn't get with the first child.
Yeah.
And as well as every child is different. Every child gets a different parent. Exactly. Same mother, but different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so because we evolve with our kids.
Yeah.
And we learn different strategies as we go along with each child.
Yeah.
So life is like that sometimes.
Yeah. So that's really the idea of this whole community, is for people to really just have that understanding that we all walk a different walk, but it's really so much more similar than what we think. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Regardless of how it's a lot of the same struggles sometimes. I know there's some other intricate things that some of us experience and things like that, but at the end of the day, there are just certain things that are like, this mom might have experienced that and someone can resonate with it. That mom, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm a firm believer, take what works for you, what doesn't, leave it.
That's it.
But I'm open to hear it, because you never know what's going to work.
What you might learn. Yeah.
So that's really what it's about. So that's why I'm like, I like for my moms to be able to come here and say, hey, look, this is what I learned in my journey, and hopefully it can help you. If it can't, you might hear it and be able to pass it to someone else. It might help them. Right. Or sometimes because like, how you're my kids, y'all say second cousin, right? Yeah. Where we come from, no, we don't do none of that. You're auntie. Mm-hmm. So they call, but growing up, I hated calling everybody auntie and uncle, because I'm like, and that's that American mentality growing up here, and knowing that kids being too comfortable with everybody is not really a good thing. No. So to be able to call everybody like auntie and uncle, you kind of get confused. Yeah. So I'm not really a big one. Like you say, oh, Miss So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, but I don't force my kids to call anybody auntie or uncle, because I felt like growing up, I'm like, that's my dad's friend, that's my mom's friend, but everybody was an auntie and
Your
uncle. It don't matter, they related, they not related.
Okay.
But I think I felt like that confused kids, because then every auntie and uncle might not have been a good person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you still need to be able to have kids understand that.
Yeah.
So one thing that the aunties and the uncles, they give suggestions, or they tell you things, and you're like, that they've learned in their own journey.
Yeah.
And it's helpful to you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something you can pass
when you
along.
want to absorb the information.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
yeah. And I think because that's a conversation that we're actually we're definitely gonna have it, because I'm gonna get an old school mom and I'm gonna get a new school mom, and we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Because everybody has, you know, like
Different perspective.
yeah,
because I'm an old school mom and a new school mom. I feel like I'm a little bit of both.
you have to
You know, like my 22-year-old, he go out with someone. I need to know who you with.
yeah, I believe that.
You know what I mean? But then I'm a new school mom to where it's like, you can stay up till 9:30.
Yeah.
You know, some people would look at me and roll their eyes if my 8-year-old was
That's
still up at
exactly.
9:30 at night. But she's gonna get up the next morning, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have different perspectives, because I think of my age and my generation.
Yeah.
And how I'm hip to what's going on now, but because I have a 20-something.
Yeah.
If I didn't have a 20-something, I'd be completely lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I try to keep relevant with certain things so that I can talk to the kid or communicate with him, or, you know, even like how they text. I have to just, sometimes I'm like, what?
I don't know what they're talking
You know
about.
right.
My
You know
dad
what I mean?
understood that
So I try to learn it so that I can communicate with them, and then they'll be like, "Why do you say it like that?" You know what I mean? Because they're not used to me saying it that way. You know, and here I am thinking I'm trying to be a cool mom, and they're just like, "Don't do that." You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because I would say I'm in between too. It just kind of depends, because there's certain things that like my parents instilled in me that like I'm Bible with it. I agree, you know, because I feel like those are the things that kind of shaped me and reared me. But then there's certain things that they did, I was like, nah, I don't like that. You know, like I'm one of those that I'm a true believer of kids having a voice. I believe you have an opinion. I believe that you have feelings. You're able to express those things. The only thing that I require of you, you got to be respectful. You have to figure out how to say it in a way that I can receive it. You know what I mean? And we have to teach them that. And the reason why is because growing up, it's like a child is supposed to be seen, not heard. No, I had a lot to say, you know, and I felt like when you don't allow me to have input, when you don't allow, then I feel rebellious.
Yeah.
And then we went through that like bumping heads, and you know, like I was that child that my parents were like very like humble people. I don't know, they were trying to figure out where they got me from, because I was just like, I questioned everything. Like, you tell me something about God, okay, let's sit down. So, cause you need to explain that to me. You know, cause African people are very traditional about a lot of things. That's cool. We can celebrate traditions. Why? Like, what's the root behind it, girl? So me and my parents were constant, like, cause they don't question things. They just move with the flow.
Okay.
And I'm one of those that like, okay, go ahead and ask me. I mean, if I'm not having a bad day, when I'm having a bad day, like, look, let's do that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm like, you know, say what you feel, express yourself. You know, I'm one of the, and some people might be like, oh, that's rude, that's disrespectful, because a child should be. I don't agree. I feel like they have to have a voice, and I feel like when you mute them, then as adults, they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to stand up for themselves, and now you have to reprogram certain things. So there has to be some kind of a balance.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer of like, you know, and one thing I spank, I don't spank too much. I'm not really, they spanked me too much. It didn't work. You know what I mean? Like when you spank me, I actually got more upset. And I actually act out more.
Okay.
So I don't spank me, but if you punish me, if you take away my TV, if you take away my phone, if you take away like things that I enjoy, like you just destroyed my whole life.
You're getting to me more. Right.
Yes. You know, so it's like you have to understand every child, and you have to be like, well, yeah, this is how my parents did this for me, but it's not working. You have to be able to understand everybody. We can't just say we gotta flow like this.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm very big on like say what you feel. What you feeling today, Papa? What's up? Because that's the expressive child. Lord God Almighty. Now I'm starting to understand why my mother used to. My parents were just like, because my dad, he's very like, he stuttered.
Okay.
So when he stuttered, he tend to have like an anger. He get angry because he has to. So it's like the man mad, he yelling, and I'm trying to like, okay, well look, well why I gotta do this? I mean, in my mind, I was being respectful, but just the fact that I was asking, I was challenging them. No, I wasn't. Okay. I really wasn't. I just want to know why. I just want to understand, and they couldn't get with that because that's not what they do. They just do what they're told. I'm like, yeah, no, we not. And that might be, I don't know if that, they always used to be like, you're too Americanized. So we grew up like Africa in the house, and then America I was outside. But no, it didn't work. So it was kind of like you move to a modern place to say you want to do things, but then you don't want to adapt. And I can understand that there were certain things that they didn't want us to, and it made sense, but
I get it.
So any tips, any suggestions, anything you want to leave behind for the moms?
Moms, don't take it too seriously sometimes.
Yes.
If you gotta have cereal for dinner, breakfast for dinner, because it's fast, do it. Sometimes we have breakfast for dinner. Sometimes I will plan breakfast for dinner. Bacon, eggs, pancakes, toast, waffles. And then not all that at one time. Yeah. You know, so don't beat yourself up too much. If you can't provide a fresh meal every night, it's okay to eat leftovers. It's okay if they sometimes have cereal for dinner. You know, it's fine. So as long as they eat,
yes,
you know, as long as they eat, it doesn't have to be 4-course meal every night. You know, sometimes they don't even want all that. Sometimes they're cool with just having some pancakes or a bowl of cereal. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah, because sometimes when I don't feel like that, they just upset. Really? Yeah, of course. Why not?
Mama, give yourself some grace.
I love it.
That's the suggestion that I will give.
I love it. Yes. I love it. So, is there anything else that you want to share? If you wanted people to connect with you, is there?
So, my social media is my name, January Rogers. That is ROGERS. Instagram, I'm Jan5510. Okay. Facebook, January Rogers.
Yeah. So I'll drop this if you guys want to inbox and ask for some tips. Maybe some recipe books that she may use, or things like that.
I don't use recipe books, y'all. It's in my head. So if you want to make something, ask me. I can walk you through it. I have walked people through how to cook meals, FaceTime, sending a text message with all the ingredients, the directions, So I can't sit here and tell you that I'm going to be like, half a teaspoon of garlic. No, I don't know. Sprinkle it until you heard your great grandmother tell you stop.
That's right. Give it a whole lot of the love that you want to give it. I like it. That's how I cook.
Yes.
I don't follow people's recipes. I just need to get the idea of what you got, and I just kind of flow with it. Yeah. Because it got a taste to my liking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I always like to end with quotes. I love my quotes. So I'm all for being their mom and feeding them and stuff, but planning dinner every night for 18 plus years just seems a little excessive. That's just a little human now. But yeah, sometimes that's true too. You be like, look, we gotta do this 365 days a year for real. Yes. Find something to eat. It's something in the fridge. Get some bread, make a sandwich. Mm-hmm. But think of health as an investment and not an expense. So that talks about, sometimes, because this is true, and it's very unfortunate that what is healthy is expensive. And it shouldn't be that way, because a lot of those things that are healthy, they're supposed to grow naturally and things like that. So I know one thing that I could say is start getting into the gardening, learn how to garden. And
if you have the space.
But you could build. You can have like the little pots in the house, and you don't necessarily need a big space.
And all of those stuff.
Yeah, sunlight. Stuff like that. Because even if you're in an apartment, you can have like a balcony that you can, put stuff like that. But I don't feel like food should be expensive, at least not the ones that really are healthy for us. But unfortunately, that's how things are set up here. So meal prep plans can at least make one part of your life a little simple, because motherhood can be very chaotic, but at least when you plan ahead for your meal prep, it can make something in your day simple. That's one thing you can have control over. And you can say, well, I know what I'm gonna cook for dinner, I know what the kids are gonna eat, and whatever happens in between, we figured it out.
When you have older children, make them wash the dishes.
That part.
Right. When you have older children and you didn't work all day and you didn't came home and you didn't cook dinner, they can clean it up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They can do it together. They can flip a coin.
Yes.
So you don't always have to do it.
Yeah, and not even just older children, because I feel like everybody got to do something. Because let me tell you, when I was growing up, my responsibility as a child was to get good grades and keep the house clean. Like I knew that my parents went to work to feed us. So that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, look, your job is to make sure that you get good grades and you keep the house clean. That's it. That's the only thing you have to do for real.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you gotta go to work, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So when I come home, help.
I don't want to clean your mess up.
Right. Help. And even if it's not my mess, it's all of our mess. We all live there. I try to tell that to some of the older ones that live there, because we gotta understand that in a family unit, it takes everybody to participate to make it work. Because when you have one person kind of just, it doesn't work. It doesn't. And I know a lot of society put a lot on the women. A lot. The men just go out and work, or, this day and age, some of the men don't even want to do that. So you got the women doing everything. But the reality is everybody has to play a part for it to move. And that means the kids as well. So yeah, I'm a big believer of like, this is family-centered living. You live here, you help.
Yep.
Everybody has to do something. And I think when they were younger, you kind of just like cuddle them, and it's like, oh, no. Now it's like, you gotta help. You gotta do something. My plate is full. I'm tired. Because guess what? You want to know why mommy yelling? You want to know why mommy angry? Because she got to go to work, then come home. No, we not. You need help. You want mommy to be nicer? Then we all have to work together. So you have to keep kind of talking to them and just letting them know, like, it's a team effort. So meal prepping is the new fast food. It's actually quicker than fast food, and it's healthier.
Yeah.
So
cheaper too.
Yeah, very true. It's always cheaper. Because when you go and buy, and one of the staples, like you said, was beans. That's something I always keep in the house too. Beans. Because, you can throw a meal together with some beans.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else that you want to say?
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Oh, well, thank you for saying yes. I so appreciate you.
No problem. Appreciate you,
girl.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I gave you some good tips or, know.
And we'll add some more once we, when I upload the video, I'll add some more of her tips and, some of her own little recipes that she has. So outside of my quotes, I also always like to say, moms, it is very, very important for you to pour back into yourself. It's very important. I mean, if you do nothing else, you have to consistently feed your cup. You got to love on yourself. You have to take the time to nurture yourself and give yourself the things that you need. You are no good to anyone else if you're not taking care of yourself first.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can keep pouring into other people. That's just going to drain you. And you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be angry. You're going to be overwhelmed. And we're trying to get to a space of where we have more, we're healthier, we're more healed, we're more whole. Because guess what? When you're functioning out of that space, you think better, you make better decisions, and you have more time to love on the people that you need to love on.
And your smile is not made up.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to walk around and just be upset, you know? So it's very important to just take time. And self-care is so simple. It's simple things that we don't even think about.
Bath time, ladies. Make a bath time.
Yeah.
Schedule it.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's just writing down your thoughts, brain dumping, getting rid of all of that stuff in your head. You know, it's little things. It's little things that you could research to do that are so small that gives you rest and relief.
Yeah.
So remember, we here at Self-Indulgent, we believe that you have to put yourself first and you have to self-indulge. So I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you for being here with us, sis. I truly appreciate you. And to everybody out there, thank you for tuning in with us. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, continue to share with your mom friends, with their husbands, their partners, because we want everybody on board. Like I said, it's a team effort. We can't get through this process alone. Mothering has never been one man's job, ever. And we have tried to make it that way. And even in the situations where dads are not around, guess what? You got aunties, you got this, you got that. Everybody plays a role somewhere. So let's stop putting everything on mom and let everybody just step in and play a part.
Yes.
It's that simple. So keep loving on you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.